Hey guys, Dr. Dex here. It's question and answer time. We receive a lot of questions from our Instagram page, and so we've decided to start bringing them over to YouTube so we can give you a little bit more description on some of the answers. So here we go. Excuse my glasses, but I kind of need them to read them. All right, question number one. Somebody wants to know what my favorite electrical tool is. Man, that is a really hard question. I've been thinking about this question for 3 days. And I would have to say, if you made me pick just one electrical tool is my favorite, I would have to say it is a HeatCon heat forming kit. Those silicone heating blankets allow me to do more art and create such beautiful things with it. It's probably the most incredible tool that I have in my arsenal. I have a lot of great tools. A close second, I've really been digging these Metabo HPT triple hammer impact drivers. We've pretty much replaced all of our other drills with the Metabo HPT brand. I really love those impact drivers, but those are cordless, so I don't know if that's considered electrical. I'm sure it is. And I could just go on and on and on, but probably the HeatCon I don't use as much as I'd like to or can, but the Metabo Impacts basically use those every single day. Sorry, for some reason I can't find the usernames on this week, so hopefully I can figure that out. We're still learning all this. We're all new to it, so please be patient. And don't forget to ask more questions anywhere you want. You can ask them through YouTube, ask them through Instagram. It doesn't matter to us. We'll get back to you and try to do it in a format like this so you guys can catch not just one singular question, but a bunch at the same time. All right, here we go. So, should I redo my deck myself? Built a year ago and was done poorly where I fell through it. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I think if you're going to do something on your own, it's really about if you have the ability and you can afford it. It sounds like if you already paid somebody to do the work and it's only been a year, I would check and see. Most states have a 1-year unconditional warranty that you have to abide by as a licensed contractor. So if you hired a licensed contractor and the work isn't turning out the way you wanted it to, by law, they have to warranty it for 1 year, no matter what. So I would start there. If you are going to rebuild the deck yourself and you feel like you have the capability, YouTube is a great resource, Instagram as well, and I would try to go for it. Just kind of ask questions and build up your confidence a little bit by just starting with the basics, and pretty soon you'll have a nice level platform to stand on. So I'd say yes. The answer to your question is yes. Here's one. Ideal deck crew size. So what I've found over the years is I've always had a small team of people that work for me. I am kind of a control freak. I have a really hard time letting go of the reins. Seems like when I'm out of town or I'm not present on the job site, something doesn't quite go the way I want it to. So I've always been around. As I'm getting older, I find that more and more difficult to do. So for now, we run a 3-man team. So that includes me and 2 other people, Phil and Andy. And that seems to work out pretty well. It used to be just Phil and I, but I just can't muscle all the material and do all the lifting and all the stuff that I used to as I get older. So now I'm trying to eventually maybe work myself off the job site. But for now, that's where I'm comfortable, and that's what we're going to do. 3-man crew. More people than that seems to get a little too crowded. People are kind of repeating themselves or trying to do the same thing. 2 guys are doing the same thing too much, in my opinion. I know some companies run 8-man crews, and I don't know how they do it. You have to be extremely streamlined and super efficient to be able to run a crew like that. How do you do flashing water protection on a ledger board against brick? Good question. There's several different ways to do it. Sometimes it might be wiser for you to actually hire that part out to a flashing company or somebody that does sheet metal. What I normally do is we will cut a line either in the mortar or in the brick that we can insert the flashing and then glue it to the brick. And so it's kind of like a Z, so it'll go in from the brick, down, and then out. And then it really depends also on if you're going to, if the deck's waterproofed or if it's just a standard deck or what the flashing is designed to do. So I've had decks where I'm doing a waterproof deck, so I want the flashing above the decking, and then that's glued down as well. And I've had a few people commenting, well, that's a toe. They're going to cut your toe wide open. You know, everything's glued down. So I think people that are barefoot on a deck, if they own the home, they kind of realize that. I know accidents do happen, but I haven't come up with another way. Even if you put down fasteners with waterproof grommets, you're still going to have issues. So I haven't figured out, is there another way to take that material and make it seamless to the top of the surface of the decking. But in my opinion, what I've been doing seems to work. I don't have any leaks, which is great. Now, if you're just going from the brick to your ledger on the house, then you don't really have to worry so much about the waterproofing. So then it goes brick, down, over the ledger, and then Z down again. So that's actually a custom piece that you'd have to make or have made probably by either somebody that can roll it or put it on a brake, a sheet metal brake, and make you that profile, which might be worth it in the end, in my opinion. Okay. What/who inspired you to build decks? Well, I'd have to say my father, who lives in Reno, Nevada, he was a deck builder, and he built decks for a very long time. He no longer does, but when I was younger, I would go to Reno during the summer from high school or junior high school. Once I got out of high school, I actually went and worked with him for a couple years, just learning some of his tricks and secrets and some of the finer points of carpentry. So he kind of got me into building decks. And as far as inspiration, I don't know. I don't really follow too many people that I use their ways to do what I do. Most of it's God-given ability. So I'd have to kind of give the man upstairs some credit for continually flooding my brain with all these crazy ideas on what I'm doing and how to do it. Sometimes I come up with ideas in my sleep. I probably only remember about half of those, if that. And I'm always trying to push the envelope of what I can do. I don't really play it safe too often. And I think that's what's kind of made me the way I am today, to create some of these beautiful works of art. All right, so here's a question somebody's asked me in the past is, these bigger decks that we build, are they more to sustain your ego or these monster decks? I mean, why do you build such large projects? And my answer to that is, I'm an artist. So I like to build what the client will allow me. So I'm always trying to design above and beyond what I think that maybe they want or need, and say, hey, what do you think of this? And it's not so much that it's always big. It can be a smaller structure, but have a lot of trick components to it. So for me, it's not really to stroke my ego, more that it's just to fulfill my need to build something artistic. Okay, here's another question I've received is, when you have a lot of followers, you get a lot of positive comments, but sometimes you also get some negative ones. And how do you deal with some of the negativity that you receive? And most of the time I used to deal with it by either asking my followers to comment, or I would get involved in a heated discussion or debate. And now I just no longer do that. It's not worth it. It's not worth my time or my energy. So usually I just swipe and delete a lot of the negative comments. If you curse a lot on my page, I get it. We're in a construction field. A lot of guys do swear, but I try to keep a clean page. It's important to me that everyone can enjoy it. So I'll just delete a lot of those type of comments. And I've only had a couple people come back and say, hey man, why'd you delete that? And then I'll have to explain, well, for these 4 reasons. And then usually I've never had somebody say, well, hey, forget you. I have actually had a couple people say that as well, but you know what? It is what it is. I appreciate the people that do follow me and that do subscribe to our channel, and thank you very much for that. Another question I've received is like, what do I do for fun? In the summer, I have a chopper that I like to ride. That's a lot of fun for me. I don't go out for more than a couple hours on it, but it really fulfills me, energizes me. I also like to do stand-up jet skis. So I like to bend deck boards. To me, that's fun. It's stressful. It's a lot of work. It's, sometimes I feel like I'm throwing away $100 bills, but I think it's the end result that I'm after. Is what does it look like when it's finished? And so for me, that's fun. I don't take a lot of personal time off for myself. It's mostly work. Okay, here's one. Does the Dexter Dry waterproofing require the deck to have slope to ensure the water flows away from the house? So yes, you do have to slope Dexter Dry, or you do have to slope your deck 1/8 inch per foot minimum to keep the water flowing in the proper direction. Here's something that you may not know. The Dexter Dry system can be run perpendicular to the house, but also you can run it parallel, and the water will still find its way over the Dexter Dry and off the deck. At first, the first time I saw the product, I didn't realize that. And I thought, wow, man, that's really cool. And then I've seen a couple installs with it done where you're actually running the deck conventional, parallel to the house. You're not coming up with all this crazy framing like I do, and it just worked out. So that's a pretty cool way to do it. So as long as you slope your deck 1/8 inch per foot to keep the water going away from the house, you're golden. All right, guys, that wraps up our question and answers for today. If you have any more, please leave them down below. If you liked what you saw or I answered something that made sense to you, please click subscribe. Also click the bell icon. That will give you notifications of when we're putting out new stuff. Thank you very much and have a great day. I gotta come up with a better outro.